We've just been through an election campaign in the United States where both Donald Trump, the president-elect now, and President Joe Biden assured voters that Islamic State had been defeated. I mean, this must be quite a surprise to many Americans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have thought that since the Islamic State doesn't control the territory that it once did, that it's no longer a thing. And it's true that the Islamic State had a huge amount of territory in the Levant for years, and that was a threat to everywhere, even close to that area, certainly including Europe and even as far as the United States. And now it's been reduced to sort of an insurgency in that area and then rump territory in Africa. But, what I think everybody forgets is that there can also be a different type of legacy from the Islamic State. And that is that it kind of makes psychologically available to the world's worst people the idea that maybe if you're feeling down, if you feel like you want to get your name in the headlines, that there's a template for what you can do. And in this case, we find this American loser who was having some trouble in his life and who seems to have decided that, yeah, I seem to remember something in the news that worked to kind of go out with a bang. And what he did in this case was to do something the Islamic State since 2014 has been urging people to do. And mercifully, very few people have taken them up on it, which is just to get a truck and then to drive into a crowd. So as low tech as it gets, and that's part of the ongoing legacy of that terrorist group.
And that, of course, is the point that you were making in The Atlantic in your piece last night. You wrote, "The nightmare scenario is and always has been the combination of violent motivation with the patience and planning that would allow that motivation to find maximally lethal expression." And as we saw 30-odd hours ago, it doesn't take vast amounts of sophistication to launch an absolutely murderous assault on the French Quarter in New Orleans, and you could do it in any other American city, and you could do it in towns and cities all over Europe and the UK.
Yeah, it doesn't take very much. I mean, in the United States, the availability of weapons is, of course, very high. The availability of cars, even more so. So it takes very little to cause an attack like this, and there's nothing that can be done ultimately to prevent people from driving cars. So what I think we have to be most concerned about is the fact that if you have even a modicum of patience, the ability to plan, the ability to think things through, then you might be able to have an attack that's much more lethal than the one we've seen. And of course, the Islamic State has accomplished that in the past, and in Paris, in Nice, in Orlando, Florida. So it continues to be very concerning to me. But luckily, this person seems to have not had that combination of patience and intent.
What do you think the impact of this attack is going to be on America's intelligence agencies?
Well, already you've seen senators, you've seen politicians say that something should have been done. This should have been recognized. And I think that you can't fault politicians from wanting to score their points in a particular moment like this. But the truth is, nothing could have been done. There's nothing that could have been done to stop this other than to have surveillance over absolutely everyone at all times. So I think the intelligence agencies are going to have to take their lumps politically, but there's not much that they could have actually done to change the outcome that we had.
Presumably at the Islamic State end of the equation, in those parts of the world where Islamic State is regrouping, they will be looking at this with tremendous glee.
I think they will be, but you got to remember what they used to do. They used to be really quick out of the gate saying, we knew this guy, he told us he was going to do it, and we're happy that he's done it. And now, as far as I know, so far, there has been no claim of credit from the Islamic State. I think they were as surprised as anyone. Of course, pleased about it, I'm sure, but they don't have the same kind of ability to plan and to direct attacks that they had in the past. What remains is their ability to inspire attacks and to inflect those attacks in the kind of argot of the Islamic State. So pleased though they may be, it doesn't signal that they're going to be resurgent in the way that we might fear.